Your brain will eat away at you if you don't feed it well. That is the truth. I know all about it. I'm a top writer on mental health online. And now I'm going to share with you 10 good diet and nutrition tips for mental health. Firstly, look at having a balanced diet. We've heard about it before, but it's true. It's so true, and it's more true now in this present day than ever before because there is so much junk out there. Let me give you a quick example. I'm Irish. In Ireland, I see foods on the shelves, packages that I saw in the US, and I love the US, 25 years ago when I went there first. And I couldn't believe the size of the chocolate bars, candy, and now we have it here. We didn't have that proportion before, so we need to have a balanced diet. That includes not just the food stuff, but also with regard to the size and portions of what we're putting on our plate, and that we have one plate and not two plates as well. So aim for a balanced diet that includes a variety of nutrient-rich foods. Now, these can be whole grains, lean proteins, healthy fats. Yes, there are healthy fats, fruits, vegetables, and so on. The proportionate plate ratio of these particular foods is usually out of proportion. It really is. Most people, I know one person, for example, they just have, like, sometimes served on a restaurant, vegetables on a little kind of quarter of the plate, and they will just shove it off the plate and they will go and they'll get the meat, and so on. Protein is good, but if you have a proportion that's out of proportion, that is with no veg, then you're in trouble. What I particularly do is when I go to a restaurant, something like that, have an ordinary meal, I take the vegetables first, because if I'm very, very hungry, I train myself to eat the vegetables first, going into the digestive tract more so. And then after that, I can enjoy my meal or whatever else that's a little bit dodgy for me at that particular point. So having a balanced diet and having those healthy fats, like I said, like sugars and all that, these are not healthy fats, but there are healthy fats that we can put into our diets as well. So if you have olives, for example, they are very, very good for a diet. And that's another thing. The second point, omega more so 3 fatty acids are so important for your diet. They've been proven through studies as well that if you incorporate them, they're a great source of, like I said before, fatty acids. Fish, which would be broken down into mackerel or salmon or perhaps sardines. These are all good fish that contain these very good omega-3 fatty acids. You can also get them, of course, in a supplement form. Some people like to take the little pills with the small bit of fluid inside of them, and you can pop them back. And maybe if you're not a great fish eater, that's okay too. You can do it that way. But you're basically allowing your heart to be very healthy as well. Another thing, of course, is flax seeds and walnuts. Really undersold in main stores, main shopping outlets. Often we go to health food stores, but you can get them. They're coming into the mainstream as well. So what I said earlier on about the bigger candy bars coming in and the more diverse range of them, there's also flax seeds and walnuts and the like coming into mainstream shopping malls or centres. We just have to look a little bit deeper and a little bit further for them. Omega-3s, by the way, they've been linked to improve mood and cognitive function as well. So this is where we're getting into not just the healthy heart, but also with regard to the brain, which of course controls our mentality. Complex carbohydrates. Is it complex? No, I'm trying to simplify it here right now. So if you choose complex carbohydrates like whole grains, vegetables, leafy green vegetables more particularly, that's going to really help you as well. My trick of eating the veg first can be done by you as well. You can also use a blender with a lot of veg, pop them in, and because of course veg is more like water-based and soluble, you can kind of break it up easier in a blender much quicker and just throw it back, chuck it back early in the morning, and put a little bit of twisted lemon in there as well if you wish, just to get a little bit of a taste or neutralize the taste. But complex carbohydrates, they help regulate blood sugar levels, provide then sustainable energy throughout the day. And if we think of that in a physical sense, we always want to be balanced, don't we? But we also want to be able to mentally be balanced too. So we're always thinking about this. 2. Protein is another one. If you include lean proteins such as poultry, beans, lentils, tofu is a good one as well, and Greek yogurt. These are really good proteins to have. They're leaner than the red meats. The red meats tends to have a lot of, like if we look at sirloin steak, around the edges of the circumference of the steak, you often see that like white, greasy fat. That's not good fat. I mentioned good fat earlier on. That's a very bad fat. It's very bad for your cardiovascular system, but also for other areas of your body and brain, of course, as well. So by looking at proteins that have lean fat structures within them, they support the production of neurotransmitters that influence mood. So it's up here we're thinking about preparing for, but also we're actually getting the benefit of not just our mental health, but also our physical health. That's why often we see physical changes in people or in yourself, like weight gain, sudden weight gain. It can be coming from a mental source, just to be aware of that as well. Next one is antioxidant-rich foods, because if we eat foods rich in antioxidants, the clue is in the word anti, against oxidation, which is bad. Well then, things like berries, spinach, kale, and colourful vegetables. By being colourful, you're getting the variety that I mentioned earlier on. These are then antioxidants. They protect our brain cells from stress, basically oxidative stress. And so the world is a complex place. It's a place where we're getting stress all of the time through work, through having to do things for other people, maybe be around people we don't want to be around. And that in itself can bring stress. But by eating these rich foods that are rich in these antioxidant type of components and contents, then it's benefiting us very much so. And not eating, the next one, and limiting sugar and processed foods is hugely important for us too. By doing so, we're reducing sugary snacks, and fructose is part of sugar, and this helps them highly with looking after our mental health via our physical health. Remember, everything has to go through our mouth in the first place. So it has to go through the digestive tract. That then, of course, is linked down to the GI tract and so on. And that then has a direct or indirect, more so, link with the brain, which has come out in research as well in the past few years. So we often use the phrase, the gut feeling. And yes, the gut actually is connecting with the brain. And the brain, of course, is central kernel to our mental health and mental fitness as well. So by limiting our sugar and processed foods, we're actually helping ourselves, and we're going against potential mood swings and energy crashes. So what we want is sustainability throughout the day and getting tired at the normal time at night time and that. Next one, stay hydrated. High quality H2O. The Water Boy, I love that movie, Adam Sandler. But it's so true, stay hydrated. Drink plenty of water throughout the day. A lot of people say they can't drink towards the evening. Well then, sip in the morning. By sipping in the morning, you're building up this water in your system. Okay, as you're being dehydrated, and you are being dehydrated, you're busy-minded, you're doing things, you're really energetic, cool. But get into a habit of sipping. Get yourself a water bottle. Bring it around with you. Fill it up. You can put a little twinkle of maybe lemon or maybe a slight bit of strawberry or something like that. Blackcurrant, that's a nice one as well. But remember to balance the sugar with the water, because we're not trying to take too much sugar, and there's sugar in these juices too. But know that dehydration can affect your mood, your focus, and your cognitive function. So why keep yourself unhydrated when you can rehydrate constantly by sipping throughout the day? Next one, caffeine is a good thing in one way for the brain, but you need to moderate the caffeine intake as well. I heard one guy who drank 17 cups of coffee, and that goes through you, has to go through you, and you will be kept up at night. Same way as hydration. So if you're drinking a lot of coffee, why not just swap out every second coffee for a hydration drink like water? That's a good way to begin your transition towards a healthier you, a healthier mental health here as well. So moderate that caffeine intake, because by limiting it, the excessive caffeine consumption, this contributes to excessively of this consumption of caffeine contributes to anxiety and, again, disrupting the sleep pattern. Then, second last one here, we're including prebiotic and probiotic foods. Things like garlic, I know, it can smell the breath of a person, for sure. But it's really good for you. That smell is doing something that's powerful. Onions, another one. I have to say I love both garlic and onions. Again, eat them at certain types of the day that are beneficial. Perhaps also planning if you're doing something or meeting people in the evening. Make sure you have them digested a few hours beforehand. And bananas are a good one as well. They're rich in very good carbohydrates, and they're really can be planted within your digestion system to really help you hours down the track, and they're a longer term energy source than any sugars or anything like that as well. And yogurt, kefir, things like this are truly good prebiotics, probiotics, and help us with regard to our long-term eating plan. Always put these things into place over time. It's going to be beneficial. Lastly, have a mindful eating plan. I mentioned and touched on it just there. So give yourself that time to be mindful. What am I eating now? The big thing is going to a supermarket, going to a mall. You're going to be pushed at. There's brands pushed at you. There's all these great brands. I mentioned some. I won't mention them, perhaps. Probably better not to. But we all know them. They're all around the Western world. And so if we can look at them just as branding, just as marketing, just as advertisement, and instead look at what is beneficial. The great thing about fruit and vegetable, of course, is they're just as colourful as what you can see on logos and advertisements. So if you go into I always think mentally, if you go into a shopping mall or whatever, and everything has a package, it's packaged because it's covered up. Whereas the beautiful fruits and vegetables, they're actually open. They don't need to be packaged because they're beautiful to look at. They're water soluble, they can go through you. Remember, a large percentage of your body, 70% or so, is going to be water anyway, and that's going to sustain you throughout the day and through over time. So look at the things without the package in that way, and you're going to be a long way through towards mindful eating. Now, if you want to subscribe, you're being mindful as well of this channel, and also the videos that come out in it. If you don't, it won't bother me, because up here, mentally, thankfully, I'm good. But until next time, please do have a wonderful day. Cut! That's 3.